The night erupted in a blaze like a rogue star had crash-landed in my backyard. Twisted metal shards rained across the cul-de-sac, glowing faintly from the drone Melissa had sent buzzing over my fence. Sirens screamed in the distance, slicing through the chaos, while I stood on my porch in worn slippers, sipping coffee, watching the Hillcrest HOA president crumble into her own shattered schemes. Melissa's sobs echoed as her grand plans burned out. Yeah, that's me, Nathan Carter, the guy who flipped the switch and plunged an entire neighborhood into darkness. You're probably wondering how it got this wild. Let's rewind. 15 years ago, I bought 10 acres out here, not for the VYEW or some tax dodge, but for space raw, untouched space. I needed room for something nobody else would dare build. A micronuclear reactor, compact, legal, and self-regulating. I wasn't just some tinkerer. I'd spent 20 years engineering naval reactors, held 3 patents, and cashed out enough stock to buy land where nosy neighbors and solar salesmen couldn't find me. I wanted silence, freedom, and a project that'd outlast the world's worst days. So I dug the foundation myself 10 feet down, 3 feet of leaded concrete for the control vault. Intake wells, coolant chambers, and a dispersal tower disguised as a weather mast followed. Above ground? Just a reinforced shed with a weather vane, a steel door, and a keypad tucked behind a grill cover. My house, 200 feet upslope, sipped power through a shielded underground line. The real trick, though, was the feed loop. I pushed excess juice into municipal grid under an anonymous contract node 19 blue, no name attached. For a decade, I powered the tract homes half a mile west without a single soul knowing. Then the houses came. Farmland across the road vanished, replaced by cookie-cutter Mediterranean boxes, each one screaming HOA conformity. I watched from my porch, counting nail guns as fiber lines snaked underground. I knew the type these homes would draw not bad folks, just the kind who think quiet means they get to control everything. The Hillcrest HOA formed the second the last cul-de-sac was paved. A welcome packet landed in my mailbox, full of bylaws I'd legally opted out of. My land was non-associative, free, and clear, notarized by the developer who sold me the lot. But Melissa didn't care. She was the kind of woman who saw opt-outs as personal insults. Hillcrest president, Melissa Thornton, came at me fast. First, a letter about my non-standard fence height. Then, one griping about my improper shed construction. The third, unauthorized energy infrastructure. She didn't know. It was nuclear she just sensed something wasn't hers to boss around. She knocked once. I didn't answer. A yellow envelope got wedged in my gate, and she stormed off like she'd won a war. 2 weeks later, a county inspection notice arrived, citing environmental violations. I laughed. My reactor had been certified clean by the Department of Energy 3 years prior, under a hush-hush deal signed in a Virginia basement. It was marked as protected residential infrastructure. Nobody, without a specific badge, could peek inside. But Melissa didn't need facts. She had connections. She schmoozed a city council newbie at some eco-brunch, and suddenly my land was rezoned from rural utility to residential renewable conversion. Translation: they wanted to slap solar panels and wind turbines on my property without asking. The inspection, run by Melissa's brother-in-law, Tom Brindle, came back Cleano radiation, no leaks, just like I designed it. But Tom's report surprise called my shed an unknown risk to residents and children. His LinkedIn bragged certified energy assessor, but the state registry had no such license. Guess who he was? Melissa's husband's sister's husband. Then came a lawsuit, Hillcrest HOA versus Nathan Carter. They claimed my reactor was unregulated, annexable, and get this dangerously fenced. They thought they could seize it, gut my life's work, and turn it into a community solar hub. I nearly spat my coffee. The court date was 3 weeks out, but Melissa wasn't waiting. One morning, diesel engines growled up my drive. 3 yellow bulldozers idled past my gate, trailed by white SUVs with HOA stickers and a flatbed hauling wind turbine parts. Melissa, in a hard hat she clearly didn't know how to wear, pointed at my shed and barked, "That comes down before lunch." I strolled to the gate, calm as ever. The foreman, a stocky guy with a clipboard, looked uneasy. "We've got court clearance for land prep," he said. "Got a site schematic?" I asked. He didn't. "You're standing 12 feet above a cooling chamber," I said, loud and slow. I'd step back before the seismic sensors kick in. The crew froze. "Cooling chamber," the foreman stammered. "As in fission," I said. "Sealed, unless someone cracks the lid with, say, a backhoe." Melissa charged over, all fake authority. "This is community land now," she snapped. I pulled a laminated DOE placard from my jacket. "You're on federally registered infrastructure. Unauthorized contact's a felony." She scanned the QR code because, of course, she did, and hit a DOE login wall. Her face went pale. The bulldozers backed off, engines hissing. Melissa's mouth opened, but no words came. I sauntered to the shed, popped the keypad cover, and flipped the grid isolation switch. The reactor's hum shifted. It was mine now, no more free power for Hillcrest. Melissa didn't show up the next day. She marched, SUV screeching, with 2 suited lackeys trailing her like lost puppies. She shoved a cease and desist into my chest. "Vacate, or we'll do it for you," she hissed. I tossed the envelope onto a log pile. "Got federal energy clearance?" I asked her lawyers. They didn't. "Then you're out of your depth," I said, walking away. That night, glossy flyers hit every mailbox, screaming, "Danger! Nuclear material near your family," with a photoshopped image of my shed, glowing like a sci-fi prop. The HOA newsletter followed, claiming I was leaking contaminants, running an unlicensed reactor, maybe even a terrorist. They even had a blurry drone shot labeled Containment Vault. I could have sued for libel. Instead, I circled every line in red ink and wrote one note. "If you're so scared, maybe I'll shut it down." Friday, 30 minutes before their emergency meeting, I flipped the master switch to grid isolated. The reactor purred, but no power left my land. 10 minutes later, the neighborhood flickered. 15, and it went black. Every light, router, thermostat gone. At the HOA clubhouse, Melissa's PowerPoint died mid-slide. Babies wailed, phones glowed, and chaos reigned. I slipped in, set a battery-powered lamp on the podium, and said, "Evening, folks. Nathan Carter, east edge of Hillcrest. For 11 years, I've powered this place free, legal, cleaner than the city grid." Gasps rippled. "You cut the power?" someone yelled. "Yup," I said. "You want it off nuclear? Enjoy the brownouts." Melissa screeched, "This is terrorism." I smiled. "No, it's autonomy." Monday, I unleashed a legal storm backed by DOE counsel. Trespassing, defamation, fraud, every charge razor sharp, with classified docs and a letter from a DOE ghost named Wright. The HOA's smugness vanished. Flyers disappeared, their accounts froze, and injunctions barred them from touching my land. Discovery was a gold mine. Tom's fake report, signed by a ghost apartment. A pre-signed solar deal with Melissa's husband's shell company, funded by a federal grant they hadn't won yet. They'd spent thousands on mock-ups, digitally erasing my shed for Sunflower Wa VY in kids under turbines. The press ate it up. Headlines screamed, "HOA tries to bulldoze nuclear plant, loses power." Neighbors turned on Melissa, bringing me pies, memos, even recordings of her saying, "Once we grab his land, we flip it for green tech cash." Court was a slaughter. I took the stand, retired Navy engineer, for patents, my reactor safer than granite countertops. The judge, a former JAG, wasn't amused. Fraud, not miscommunication, he ruled, finding Hillcrest due lot $2.6 million, with due lot $80,000 to me. Melissa was ousted, her house left empty, Zillow values tanked, and Sunny Valley became that blackout neighborhood. I never reconnected them. I upgraded my reactor boron panels, graphene channels, AI, balancer sand, added a solar array, just to rub it in. I powered only 4 allies. The Wilsons, who bake me lemon bars, Clara, the librarian with damning recordings, Mrs. Sharma, fine for tulips but loyal, and Hank, a gruff vet who guarded my gate. The rest got brownouts and dead smart meters. On the blackout's anniversary, I hosted a barbecue for my crew, handing out keychains etched with "We choose the current." I bolted a sign to my gate, "Private Power Station, HOA Free Zone." Behind it, a neon sign glowed, "Grid by Grit, Power by Petty." As fireflies danced, I sipped lemonade, my reactor humming, while Hillcrest's dreams stayed dark. So what do you think? Was I right to cut their power, or did I go too far? Should HOAs have any say over private land? And who's really the VY Lane Hirim, Melissa, or a system that let this escalate? Drop your thoughts below, smash that like button, and subscribe for more stories that'll keep you talking.